Hello, my name is Brad Wright. I'm one of the pastors here at Grace Presbyterian Church, and I wanted to send you a quick video as we make our way towards September, as we enter into our fall ministry year. So during the summer, we've only had our worship service in the morning, and we had VBS earlier in the summer, and our students went on camps and things, but now we're kind of getting back into that normal fall rhythm. So here's some things to know. On September 7th, we'll go back to having our 2 services. So we'll have an 8:15 a.m. service that begins on September 7th. And then we'll also, of course, have our 10:30 a.m. service. And then the next week on September 14th, that's really when everything will kick off. That's when we'll have our Sunday morning activities resume. Some of our Sunday evening stuff will start up. But on the 14th, we're going to have an all-church event that night. And so I really want to encourage you to come. We'll meet together, we'll pray together, we'll sing together. Our kids will break off and they'll go with Pastor Kyle and some volunteers, and they'll have some activities and some pizza, and then we'll join them. But part of why I'm inviting you to consider this is because this year, as we begin again into the fall, we're going to be studying the book of Ephesians. And in the book of Ephesians, Paul talks a lot about not just God's grace, but also how that grace is best experienced, it's best worked out, it's best engaged with as we do so in the context of community. Paul writes in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8, "For it is by grace you have been saved through faith. It's a gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast." We are a people saved by grace. But the other part of that, he talks about in Ephesians chapter 2, also, verse 22, "And in him you too are being built together to become a dwelling in which God lives by his Spirit." We are meant very much to experience God's grace personally, but we're also created to express it. That's the fullness of the expression of our own belief in the gospel, is that we live it out and express it. So we'll begin that sermon series on September 14th. That night, we'll get to live into that together, being built up together, resting in his grace together, and watching him work among us through the power of his Spirit. Now, in the past, we've had something called community groups, and I want to invite you to consider being part of a community group this fall. Now, oftentimes when we think of community groups, we think of a small group of people meeting in a house, but really that's more of a home group. When you think of a community group, it's really a place where you connect with other people in the life of this church outside of Sunday morning. We're going to gather every week to worship. It's absolutely essential for our spiritual well-being. But the next part of the experience of being in the church is to do life together, to do experiences together, to share one another's burdens. And I want to list some ways that you can be a part of that sort of community, a community group, if you will, and consider maybe if you could be in one this year. If you're a member at Grace, if this is your spiritual home, all of us should come to worship, but we should also be engaging with expressing that grace in the context of others, being built up, as Paul says in Ephesians 2, into the very dwelling of God. So a couple ideas of places where you can connect in the life of Grace. 1, men's and women's Bible studies. The men's study will start in September, the women's study starts in September, but that's a time to slow down a little bit and read the scriptures and pray together, and it allows for more conversation. It's a great place to connect. Consider coming to one of those. Secondly, book clubs or the Dudes Writing Club. There's several other clubs here in our church of people who either are reading together or they're riding bikes together, they're doing things together. That's another place where you can connect with community. And I would encourage you to look in our app. You can look under groups. There might be one. You might find that we need to create another one, and you can help lead it. And I would be delighted to talk to you about that. Another way to connect in community in our church is being in our ministry teams. Now, we have a leadership summit this Saturday. Kyle's going to talk more about that morning, so I won't say too much. But our ministry teams are the ways that we serve each other in this church. So whether it's serving as an usher or serving in the communion ministry team, helping with our Grace Life events, these are all places for us to live out the gospel, places for us to connect with community. So, and then of course we will have home groups, and home groups do meet in homes around the community, and I think we have 4 or 5 of those going. We might need to start some more. But when you think about connecting at Grace, consider these Bible studies, consider perhaps a ministry team, maybe being in a social club here in our church, doing life together, participating in, helping with our Grace Life events. There's all sorts of ways for you to connect. But it's God's intention for us to do that, because as we experience His grace, we're made to express it. And so as we enter the fall together, I just would ask you to prayerfully consider those things, but also to come with anticipation and excitement. My prayer for us this year, as I quoted earlier from Ephesians chapter 2, is that we really would be a people who understand that it's by grace we're saved, through faith, that because of what Jesus has done for us, His grace is sufficient. And so we get to live in the freedom of community. We get to live into the promise of being a people made up, built up, shaped by the power of His Spirit. So I hope to see you Sunday. I'm looking forward to this fall ministry year, and I would encourage you to be part of Grace.